How's it going, my truant people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the semi-final game of the UBL as your Bowland Bovines take on OPJellicent and his Toronto Leaf Storms. If you didn't check out the team builder yesterday, I do suggest you go and do that so you know what we're rocking. I will, of course, go over a brief summary of our sets, though, here on Team Preview. I have to give a huge shout out to my man OPJellicent. He not only was our semi-final opponent here again after we played him in the final of the IBL D-League recently, but once again, just like in that game, he recorded this battle for me, so thank you to him. We literally would not have this game without him on the channel because we wouldn't have the recording or an opponent. So huge thank you to him. Go and check him out. One of the best content creators around, in my opinion. I'm a pretty avid subscriber over there and really enjoy his content. So I definitely suggest you guys check it out. Now, anyway, that's all the niceties out of the way because I promised IrishEmerald that I would create drama here and beef with man Sohan. So I have to kind of talk about the build-up to this game. We have played each other 3 times, I believe, going into this. Currently, he is 2-1 versus us, so this would be the game that leveled it up, and what a way to do it, right? In a semi-finals match. He beat us in the IBL D-League final, as I just alluded to a minute ago. So yeah, I don't want to lose 2 championships to him in a row, right? Like, I don't want to go out in the semi-final stage here. I want to go to that final, so yeah, we're very much in this to win it, but tough game, very tough opponent. Hopefully we can pull through, who knows. I want to apologize for this going up late. We had originally agreed that we would upload it at the same time. Mine is going up like 8 hours after his, I don't even know. I had football this morning, I had football yesterday morning, and so today when I got home, I fell the hell asleep. I slept for so long. I've literally just woken up, eaten some pizza, which is really annoying me because I can feel pizza between my teeth. It's not good. It was bad pizza, really bad pizza, really not nice. But I ate it because I was hungry. And then also I'm in a raincoat because I couldn't find a t-shirt, and we don't do half-naked recordings around here, so I'm also wearing a raincoat. So tell me down below how nice and shower-proof I look, and I'll be eternally grateful. Moving on, let's talk about this game. I would highly recommend, if you're still here listening to me ramble, sticking around until the end of this one, because I've got quite a bit of analysis to offer, slightly unusual analysis to offer on this one, and I think it is a fascinating game all the way until the end, the whole way through. Brilliant game in my opinion, but I mean, arguably I would say that, but I really genuinely believe that. One of the best games we've had in a long while. So, anyway, I can feel it, the cheese is right there. The cheese is right there. Moving on, let's talk about the team very briefly. We have a fairly bulky, I don't know, just like, we got 100 in every stat type, Whimsicott, you know what I mean? Just a bit of everything going on here. Leftovers, Dual Stab, Encore, U-Turn. We have a Rox, Rock Tomb, Toxic, Palisand. We have especially defensive. We have a Fizz Death Ape, max defense, max speed. No HP on this bitch. Just max HP, max defense, max speed. Fire Blast, Focus Blast, Will-O-Wisp, and Slack Off, designed to take on a Weavile, which again didn't come. Yeah, kind of wish I'd changed it, but never mind. Then we have a Rindo Berry, Rotom Wash, Spadef, exact same set that came last time, take on that Manaphy right there. Also helps out with Crobat, of course. I'll get onto what I think of his team in a second, which is pretty important. We have a Protect, Aquajet, Liquidation, Dark EMZ, Crunch, Sharpedo, Max Attack, Adamant, Max Speed, and then we have an Assault Vest, very bulky Metagross with like Pursuit, Bullet Punch, and Meteor Mash, and I don't know, Pursuit, Bullet Punch, Meteor Mash, and Zen Headbutt, I want to say. I don't know. Who knows? Not me. I don't know. Anyway, that's the team. Looking at his team, so I pretty much expected 5 of the 6 he brought. I thought these 2 would definitely come, and I thought these 3 would definitely come. This bitch in the middle right here, I was very afraid of, and I thought had a very good matchup. Didn't think he'd bring it. The reason being, huge shout out to AutoMatthic, who maintains the DraftLyi website. I think the link is down in the description. On the website, it shows you like stats for what your opponent's used all season. This little Zangoose right here come to 0 games ever all season. Semi-finals, he's not suddenly bringing it, right? It's obviously not a mon he's overly comfortable with, doesn't overly rate, probably would have traded it if he thought he could get something better. He's not bringing it. I'm not going to worry about it. Here it is. So that's a little bit problematic because my endgame win con is Sharpedo. So it's in team preview. I'm like, all right, let me actually calc a Toxic or boosted quick attack. Yeah, that's straight up Okos. So I have to basically factor in an endgame where I don't just lose to Toxic Orb Zangoose. Now, that might be getting the sweep off before he gets his Toxic Orb activated, or getting enough chip in the early game on this thing that I can then pick it off with Aquajet later on. Anyway, moving on from that, I'm expecting this to be like a DD mixed Lati, maybe Tailwind. The reason that I think DD or Tailwind is because I think he wants to try and abuse my Sharpedo's Protect term with this thing. It's something that I'm always going to protect on, and I just feel like he will do that. Like, I feel like he didn't bring a lot of speed control last time, and Sharpedo just hammered him for it. So I feel like this will be DD or Tailwind. This Cobalion here, I'm expecting pretty much similar to last time. Last time it was like Air Balloon, Close Combat, Iron Head, Stealth Rocks, maybe Volt Switch or something, I don't really know. But I'm expecting a similar kind of set, maybe a Sugarberry this time, more dependable than the Air Balloon. I could definitely see that coming. And yeah, like dual stab offensive in essence. I do think obviously it's going to be the Rocker, given he hasn't brought the Hippo this time, which I did think would probably come in this slot, to be perfectly honest. Which makes me think even more that this is going to be Sugarberry, because otherwise, I mean, look at Diggersby. Look at Diggersby. That boy goes in, right? So like, I feel like this has to be like a Sugarberry or something like that. Well, I say Diggersby goes in. His speed tier is pretty bad against his team, so there's that. But oh well. Zangoose, as I said, like if this isn't Toxic Orb Quick Attack, like I will be stunned, because to me that is such a great late game Sharpedo check that I just feel like that's definitely what I was going to be. That is part of the reason that we had Aquajet though. Like it was partly prepped for that, so I'm really hoping we can pull that off. This has got to be a Tailglow Manaphy. Like I'm almost certain at Team Preview this is Tailglow Manaphy. Brought Assault Vest last time, it did nothing. There's no way. No way it's not Tailglow Manaphy in my opinion. I showed that I can pivot in so easily with Whimsicott and Rotom last time with Resist Berries and whatever, that like he wants to boost his power just to tear through me. This looks like his primary Defogger on the team. I would say the Rotom here. Very much expecting just like bulky Defog, maybe meant to pivot in. Unlike Choiced Infernapes, Choiced Diggersbys. Yeah, maybe supposed to take a hit from Metagross, definitely supposed to take some hits from Whimsicott, so yeah, I could see this just being like a defensive pivot, essentially, with Defog. And then if this isn't Scarf, I'm going to be shocked, because again, like, this thing can outspeed, I think, +2 Adamant Sharpedo. I said this in the Team Builder. Pretty sure it can. So yeah, I'm expecting Scarf Crobat, like, every day of the week. When I looked at the matchup and stuff and thought about what he would bring, I was like, alright, Scarf Crobat is coming, Speed Raising Lati is coming, and Tailglow Manaphy is coming. I suspect Defog, Rotom will be forced to come to free up the Crobat, and then outside of that, like, these two slots, I guess, could have been something else, the Zangoose and the Cobalion, but those 3 sets or 4 sets, I was, like, certain were coming in my head. So, with all that being said, this one is going to be slightly longer than normal because I want to give as much detailed analysis as I can, hence why I'm spending a bit longer on Team Preview than normal. With all that being said, though, I want, like, Sharpedo goes crazy in this game, right? Sharpedo goes so crazy. All I've got to do is get my rocks up as early as possible, chip down this Zangoose into range of Sharpedo, which isn't that hard. Like, Sharpedo's going to do like 50% to this thing, and Toxic Orb racking up, I can do that. We can make that happen. Crobat I also want to get as low as possible because I might not be able to get my 2 Protect turns off, but if I can get my 2 Protect turns off, I need to start fishing for that. Like, I need to, if I see an opportunity to get 2 Protect turns, I need to play aggressive and go for it, because if I can get up to like +3, I'm going crazy again. Like, so if I can come in on, say, Manaphy Protect when he fears me switching, kill him the next turn, then Crobat comes into revenge, I can Protect again, then I'll outspeed Crobat, right? So something like that where I can get a double Protect off somewhere is going to be really, really crucial. Either that or I need to get Crobat in on 3 rounds of Rocks. If I can get it in on 3 rounds of Rocks, it dies the Aquajet. So that's the other way of doing it. Infernape looks fairly expendable. It'll help with the Cobalion, but with no Weavile, once again, I can play this thing aggressively and see what I can do with it. Palossand, like I say, just want rocks up early as possible. Whimsicott looks like an awesome pivot once again. Encore could be key for either the Latios or the Manaphy. And yeah, Metagross is just a trade 1-for-1. These two here on the ends opposite each other, we trade 1-for-1, and I'm happy with that exchange. So, I am going to lead off with the Whimsicott in this game, because I feel like Whimsicott always brings out Rotom Heat, and Rotom Heat always brings out Palossand, and that results in me getting Stealth Rocks and possibly a Toxic on the Rotom Heat. I last time led with Palossand, and that put me on the back foot because I led with Manaphy. This time I'm just like, let me get on the front foot and get my Palossand in guaranteed. I could lead with it, but why not, better yet, get it in early. With me dictating the tempo. So here I'm just going to Moonblast. I could have U-turned, but like there's no advantage to doing that, because when the Rotom comes out, I can still U-turn on it. I see from this damage that it's a pretty bulky Rotom. I see no leftovers here, though. We get Special Attack Drop, which is really nice for pivoting in with Palossand, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. I am going to go for the U-turn. I thought I went for the U-turn, but I guess I feared the Scarf because I saw no leftovers, which, yeah, even though it was fairly bulky, I think it showed like max HP at least, I thought that it was going to be whatever, but he actually pivots out here into his Cobalion, which is a really, really interesting switch to me. I'm not sure. I guess he just was like, okay, he's never staying in. He's going to U-turn here with the Whimsicott. So I guess that's why he went out into this. But that did confuse me slightly because I was like, wow, if that is like Scarf, whatever, then that's weird. And I've shown in the last game that my switch into the Rotom is Palossand. So this was really odd. So I basically here was like, he's got to be going for Stealth Rocks. Like the way I see it, he knows that I want Rocks early. I showed that last game. In my commentary of my last game, I was like, I'm leading Palossand because I want Stealth Rocks as early as possible. I've done the same thing, essentially, got my Palossand in as early as possible, and I can only assume he's calling it. And he's like, well, if you're having Rocks, I'm having Rocks. Which slightly confused me because that made me think, maybe Rotom isn't defog, or he just doesn't want to go through what we went through last time, where I was able to just Toxic and wear his Rotom down, and he feels like, well, if we trade Rocks, that's better than me just losing my Rotom trying to defog all the time. It did throw me off slightly though, because I feel like Rocks are better for me than they are for him, given that he has a given that he has a Crobat and a Rotom. I don't know, I felt like, I'm happy with this trade, and he does make the aggressive play to stay in. I don't have Earth Power. As I said, I have Rock Tomb, Toxic, Shore Up, and Stealth Rock, so I can't touch this thing. He doesn't know that. Here I'm just going to go for the Rock Tomb. He's not staying in, there's no way, why would you bother? He has 2 Levitators. I can get a speed drop on something. Could be really, really crucial. Something like the Lati, for example, or even the Rotom makes them easier for my slower mons to revenge, like Sharpedo to revenge the Lati, or something like that, if I want to go that route. So I just feel like my best play was always Rock Tombing. I could potentially catch the Manaphy as well. He goes out into the Rotom, and I'm like, okay, this could be Defog. Maybe he wants a Defog. Really weird sequence of plays, but I'm going to go for the Toxic as he reveals the Light Screen. And I'm like, ah. So that is why he didn't want to stay in with his Rotom as I got Rocks up, because he doesn't have a good Defogger in this matchup, I don't think. I think that the Crobat is still Scarf, if I'm honest, so I think there's a chance he just hasn't brought Defog. But if he has brought Defog, then it's Scarf Defog, and that's not reliable. So I think that that's why he made the play into Cobalion to get his Rocks up, but that tells me a lot now. I'm like, okay, this is screens, this is fine. I can still handle this. I've got to play calm. It's probably not leftovers because it's light clay, but my team is largely physical outside of... Actually, that's not true. It's largely special, isn't it? It's just Sharpedo that's physical, really. So yeah, definitely not ideal situation. I haven't brought Defog because who runs Defog? That's for cowards. He doesn't have great Hazard Sack on his team outside of a Solgor, and I just decided he wasn't bringing that, so we don't have Defog. Anyway, I'm going to double Toxic here because I don't see the point in him leaving his Rotom in. He can still use it as an offensive sack later. He could try and get up another screen, but if he does, I'm going to stall out a turn of his Light Screen by just clicking Toxic and not killing him. So, to me, it's a no drawback play double Toxicing. And crucially, if he went into the Lati, I do not break Lati's sub with the Rock Tomb if he is a sub Lati. I don't think he will be. I think he'll be DD or Tailwind, like I've said. But I don't want to let that Lati sub for free. So if I can get Toxic off on it before it comes in, it's not setting up on me, and that's something. Here I'm going to make the pivot into Whimsicott because, like I said earlier, if this thing isn't Tail Glow, I will eat my non-existent hat as he goes for the Tail Glow, and now I can Encore him into that. Last time I brought Taunt, and so far my team, you know, it's the same 6. It's looking very similar. I have changed up the Palossand to have Rock Tomb. He's already seen that much. But other than that, my team is looking almost identical. So I wonder if he may think I only have Taunt like I did last time. He might think he'll take the Energy Ball, and frankly, it just feels like staying in for him here doesn't do a lot of bad. Like, if he over-predicted and switched out here on my Energy Ball, I don't know, I just feel like he wouldn't enjoy that. This loses him momentum, sure, but he may as well stay in and go for the Ice Beam because I might not have the Encore. Now, obviously, I do, and I Encore into Tail Glow, and that is huge because I think his screens were designed to get this Manaphy in, or possibly his Lati in, to set up. Did make me wonder if he was going to be like an SD Zangoose, potentially. But regardless, we've basically just wasted his screens there for him by Encoring him, getting all that toxic damage, racking up on the Manaphy. He's got to come back in on rocks. Manaphy's essentially useless in this match, in my perspective, at this point. So I'm just going to U-turn here, because like if he stays in, he's Encored into Tail Glow. He's not doing anything. It's kind of a weird play to stay in against my Sharpedo in if I want to go that route. Yeah, I guess my Rotom into click Volt Switch and just keep the momentum going or get a kill. So I don't know, I just felt like it was the freest U-turn of my life. Yeah, Moonblast hits his whole team decently well, and he could just sack the Rotom, but I just felt like U-turn was the play here. As he goes out into Cobalion, and I'm kind of thinking, damn, I wish I had just which I had just Moon Blasted, because I might have been able to two-shot this thing depending on his spread. Regardless, I'm going to go out into Infernape here, as I reveal the leftovers, and we're playing speed tie games again. We had some speed ties in the last one. I won the crucial speed tie. He won the first one, I won the second, but yeah, we're playing some speed tie games, as I'm just going to click Will-O-Wisp here. I think that the Lati is always a switch in. I don't know why he would ever keep Cobalion in, and burning Lati, if you watch my team builder, was one of the crucial things I wanted to do, because that made me know that if he has Earthquake, he can't really DD an Earthquake Mega Metagross. I wish it was Mega Metagross. He can't really Earthquake Metagross very easily with his Mega Latios. So I'm just going to make the pivot into Metagross here. I think he's going to Shadow Ball if he has it, but if he doesn't have it, then he's just walled essentially, and this Lati is useless if it's entirely physical. Not useless, but massively hindered. So we go out into Big Steve. If he has a Shadow Ball, I 100% expect him to make the play, because why the hell would I leave my Infernape in? And the Infernape is walled to Kingdom Come by this Lati. So he does actually here reveal to have the Shadow Ball. It makes a good play. Like I say, I think it was 100% his play. I completely respect that. Gets big chunk off on Big Steve. Could have made this boy a little bit more Spadef, maybe, seeing as though I was always going to burn the Lati, I guess, in hindsight, but it doesn't really matter. Here I'm going to go for the Pursuit. If he Shadow Balls me again and stays in like he does, I don't really care. Like I said in my team builder, I'm trading 1 for 1. Like, all I want is this Lati dealt with, because if this thing is too low to like Tailwind, too low to like DD, then it's not a threat to my Sharpedo anymore, and I can kind of handle it. Even if he stays in on like a Protect turn, for example, to click Tailwind or whatever, then he's going to take Burn Chip, and then he'll be an Aqua Jet range, so I'm not concerned about this thing anymore. It's all feeding into my late game Sharpedo, and that's really what we're here for. We go for the Bullet Punch just to get the extra chip as he finishes off. Arguably that could have been a misplay if he'd revealed the Roost there, but like, I think after showing he wasn't switching out, clicking a Roost on a potential Meteor Mash could have been weird, or Ice Punch or whatever, so yeah, I just didn't feel like he was ever going to Roost, and maybe I had to play a little bit aggressively there to keep this thing low, but you know, had he roosted and missed a Meteor Mash, that would have been awful anyway. So here I'm just going to go for the U-turn. All my calcs are showing that this U-turn will kill. Maybe it wouldn't have done it, I don't know, but all my calcs are showing this U-turn would kill, and frankly, I think he's going to sack this Rotom, because why would you sack the Mega Lati when it still outspeeds a bunch of mons on my team and can just guarantee at least like 50% on something later in the game? It doesn't seem worth sacking the Lati when you can sack the Rotom, and that can't really get screens up for Manaphy anymore because Manaphy's been hurt so badly. So yeah, I always felt like he was going into Rotom here and I could just get the momentum back. The reason I go into Infernape is because Infernape invites in the Latios, and that's obvious to both of us, but I feel like the fact that I do this, he has to look at it and go, well, this Infernape probably has priority, right? If it's brought as a Weavile check like it was last time, it could easily be running Mach Punch or Vacuum Wave, in which case, bringing in the Lati here, taking rocks, and then just dying to the priority move, it's a complete waste of a Mega Latios. So I feel like this is the way that I actually deter that thing from coming in right now, and I managed to give myself the most amount of momentum, and I also scare that Lati from coming in to revenge kill Infernape, because I am now saying to him, look, I know that this is free Mega Lati for you. Why would I do that when it beats my team and I've sacked my Metagross? I must have priority. Do not bring it in. So what that basically forces instead is this thing, because he doesn't want to take the speed tie with his Cobalion. That's not really a good play, and he doesn't want to bring in his Manaphy and potentially just get bopped, right? So to my mind, he pretty much has to bring in Crobat here. Like I say, I don't think Mega Lati is a play because he's got to fear priority when this thing is a known Weavile check on my team. So this gives me my first round of rocks on Crobat, and like I said, I need 3 rounds of rocks to be able to put this thing in Aqua Jet range. So that's one, and we want to force that out as much as possible. Now here, I think this is crucial to telling me what kind of set this is. If he U-turns, I think he's scarfed as hell. If he defogs, I don't know. We'll have to see how he plays it after that. And if he Brave Birds, then I suspect he's not scarfed. So I really want to see what he goes for here to try and get a handle on his set, and he does go for the U-turn, and to me, I feel like that means he's scarfed. If he was fearing the Rotom coming in, I don't know why he wouldn't just Brave Bird, see if I was leftovers or scarf, whatever, and then U-turn. I feel like it was just like free damage or whatever. You could still sack the Mega Lati or something like that if you really wanted to. So to me, like, I'm like, yeah, I think that's Scarf. And, you know, I could have called that if I wanted to be aggressive, but Infernape is still really good in this match. It still takes a hit from Zangoose so well that it doesn't seem worth just throwing away my Infernape on an aggressive play when I have no information on that Crobat yet. He actually crits his Ice Beam here, and I'm just going to go for the Rock Tomb. the crit doesn't really matter too much. We get the speed drop, and that is what is going to be crucial coming up for the next plays. This is why I was happy to make this. I knew if he U-turned it would bring out the mana fee, but mana fee is so low now that it's fine, as he reveals his 50% berry, and it's no longer so low. Yeah, he gets a lot of health back there, so that really sucks, but the crucial thing is it has -1 speed. I thought about going into my Whimsicott here, but the reason that I didn't is because Whimsicott and Infernape can still take a Toxic Orb boosted quick attack from Zangoose, and the fact that he hasn't brought it in yet tells me that's his endgame Sharpedo check, so I have to be so careful around that thing, and the fact that he hasn't brought it in yet again also tells me that he has Protect. Like, I 100% believe he has Protect at this point, because he hasn't brought it in to get his Toxic Orb activated on some free turns where he could have done. So to me that means he's confident of getting it activated against Sharpedo later on, which means that it's almost certainly got Protect on it. So here I'm going to Sharpedo. Why? I've Rock Tombed him here and he's at -1 speed. So I could so easily just like crunch here, whatever else, and knock this thing out. To me then, him switching out, predicting a Protect turn is not the play. Like, I don't think you gain enough out of that, because you're just taking damage on something, right? If I'm like GarchompTheGod Z as well, because I was Earthquake last time, then I'm going to kill your Cobalion if you want to make that your pivot. If I make an aggressive play in Liquidation, I'm going to kill that. I just felt like, because he was at -1 speed, he had to stay in and give me this thing. So what that means is I can actually go for the Protect and get to +2 speed, and outspeed that Crobat, which is exactly what I spoke about at Team Preview. However, he makes a play into Cobalion. Now, I have actually watched his side of this game, and it seemed like in his commentary he forgot he was at -1 speed with the Rock Tomb. Completely understandable. He was distracted by the crit Ice Beam, and then the fact that he had to think about what to do with his mana fee, whether to Surf, or, you know, whether he could let the Whimsicott or the Rotom in potentially for free. So I completely understand why it seemed to me like he missed the fact that he was at -1, because he spoke about, I'm going to play aggressively, I'm going to play Hyper Offense and predict his Protect and go into Cobalion. I think had he remembered he was at -1 speed, the way it seemed to me, I don't think you would predict the Protect, because, like I say, I didn't actually have any reason to Protect. There was no good reason for me to do it, other than in my head, I want to outspeed that Scarf Crobat in case he's speed creeping me at +2. This way I can stop that from happening. And crucially, if I kill the Mana Fee and get to +1 speed, he will fear my Earthquake. If he goes into Crobat, he takes another round of Rocks. I can then click Protect on the Crobat and make that thing find out what it's going to lock itself into and pivot around it easily, and also get to +2 speed and +3 speed, sorry, and make myself faster than the Crobat. So I really felt like this was a way of me forcing my endgame really well, and it's just unfortunate that I genuinely, I'm not like, this isn't me throwing shade, I genuinely think he just forgot that he was at -1 speed. That's the way it seemed anyway. So yeah, this sucks. This play really works out for him, and I also wanted to try and lure out the Zangoose, make it take Rocks, make it take Toxic Orb, and all that good stuff while I still had Sacks around. So this puts me on the back foot hugely. I can't mess around with this thing now. I still think he has to fear the Z Earthquake, or at least a regular Earthquake. I don't know if he's Sugar Berry or anything like that, but to my mind here, he never clicks a Steel move. Like, there's just no reason that he'll ever click a Steel move. This thing's going for close combat every day of the week, if you ask me. So I go into my Whimsicott. I know that seems weird, because it's like, well, Whimsicott, he doesn't take an Iron Head. I know, but he's not going for it. I have to play a little bit aggressively now, because I just messed up going for that Protect. I wish I had just, like, Liquidationed or whatever. I just didn't think he was going to Cobalion. It was a good play. I guess even if I had Crunch to knock out the Mana Fee, he would have been able to take that, and that was his thinking, which I completely understand. I just didn't think he would give me chip on the Cobalion. I really didn't. So yeah, I guess that was just me getting a bad read there. This puts my Whimsicott super low, super low, which is not good at all. I could just Moonblast here to keep my Ape healthy, but I still feel like Whimsicott is so useful for that Latios. I hate the fact that my only way of revenge killing Latios in this game without Whimsicott is to click Protect with my Sharpedo and potentially let it get off a Tailwind, which could then just make Zangoose sweep my whole team. So I don't like the idea of that at all. So I want to keep Whimsicott around, and I'm going to go into Infernape, and I'm just going to have to trust that we win the speed tie. That's pretty much what I'm going for here. It's not great, it's pretty loose, but I just think it's my best play. I know that I can chew an Iron Head at close combat, however, this thing Yash reveals to be Focus Blast, so me being max defense instead of max HP this game really comes back to bite me, but we do land our Fire Blast and we do KO this thing. So yeah, it would have been nice if we had won the speed tie or dodged the Focus Blast, but we landed the Fire Blast, so you know, I guess I can't complain too much, but it does definitely feel like we were on the slightly unluckier side of that exchange. The Crobat comes out again, and this time I'm like, this thing's Scarf, and it's clicking U-turn because he probably thinks U-turn will kill me because it looks like I've got no defense investment. All he's seen is that my Fire Blast O-Code Cobalion and that I did not take that Focus Blast well at all. So I'm thinking that he's just going to U-turn and I'm going to live it. So I'm going to make that aggressive play and go for the Slack off here. And he does U-turn, and we do live it. Now, crucially, he spoke about this play a lot in his side of the game, and he felt like he should have Brave Birded there, and that this was a bit of a choke by him. I strongly disagree. I think even if he Brave Birded there and locked himself into that, that just gave me my Rotom Wash to come in and click Volt Switch for free, and basically tie up a kill. So I don't think this was a huge misplay at all. I completely get why he went for it, but crucially for me, and also, like, he can't have expected me to stay in or to be max defense. It was a weird set and a weird play, so I get it. I completely get it. Crucially for me, though, this means if we can kill this Manaphy off, which we do outspeed it next to this turn, we will be out of range of the Zangoose. Now, we are going to reveal that we don't have any priority at this point, so the Mega Lati can come into revenge kill me because I am going to have to click Focus Blast to KO this thing. My Fire Blast won't do it. We don't have any offensive investment, so I have to click Focus Blast here. So if I land this Focus Blast, Lati's probably going to come into revenge kill me. That's not ideal, but we are suddenly in pretty good position with this Sharpedo, and I think I'll probably sack Whimsicott, to be honest, and Rotom Wash in the back. We look in a pretty good position to win this game, given that the next time his Crobat comes in, that is the third round of rocks we wanted to put it in Aqua Jet range. But we missed the Focus Blast, and that sucks, but that happens. That's Pokemon, that's RNG. I could have kept this thing physical, and then I would have had to potentially take Flare Blitz Recoil on the Cobalion earlier and die. So, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I took the risk and it didn't pay off. That happens. Either way, I'm going to go into Sharpedo here. I do not believe for 1 minute he's going hard Zangoose. Like, that's the only play that messes me up right now. If he goes hard Zangoose and gets his Toxic Orb on my Protect, boy, that's a play. I don't believe he's doing that, because if I Crunch, then he just loses this game. Like, Mega Lati's going to die to my Crunch, Crobat's going to die, because I'll be able to Protect on that thing, or even Aqua Jet. He doesn't know I have Aqua Jet, but I know I have Aqua Jet. This thing's obviously going to die. What else does he have? Crobat, Mega Lati, Zangoose, this. Yeah, everything's dead. So, like, it would be ludicrous in my mind for him to go Zangoose here, so I'm clicking Protect, and if he goes Zangoose, then look, I can still, like, maybe click Protect on some Toxic turns, sack some stuff, I don't know, maybe we can do something, but yeah, that would be an outrageous play if he'd gone Zangoose there. He doesn't, thank God. Would have been ballsy, would have been very, very ballsy. I mean, it would have been very, very ballsy for me to predict it and click Crunch, but I don't know, it takes you need to. I think that's a play you can make against certain opponents. I have some friends that I would maybe make that play against because I know them so well. But us two don't know each other that well to make crazy plays like that. Anyway, here I get the speed boost off, and he goes out into Zangoose, and I'm like, yep, here it is. This my nemesis, the bane of my life. This game, this thing has just been chilling in the back. This used to be my favorite Pokemon for a long time, by the way. I love Zangoose. I love this thing so much, and this thing has just been chilling in the back, being such like a deterrent to everything I want to do in this game. It's been a nightmare for me. How stoned does his eyes look, by the way? I've never noticed that. It looks really high. Anyway, so here I'm like, okay, he almost certainly has the Protect. If he just has Quick Attack, he can't KO me. And if he doesn't have Protect, I've won. Like, I've already won if he doesn't have Protect, because this thing will die to my Z, which I'm going to go for here. If he does have Protect, he'll live my Z, but then he'll be in Aqua Jet range. So, if he chooses to scout for my Z and sack something else off and comes back in and he doesn't have Protect, then he's still going to die to my Crunch, and he still won't have his Toxic Orb. So at this point, my play is just always 100% to Z. Even if he scouts for it, doesn't matter. At least he's going to take another round of rocks. He does scout for it, which is a really, really good play. I honestly didn't ever think he would scout for it, because I felt like, I don't know, if he could just Protect and then Quick Attack, I felt like that's what he'd do. I didn't think he would think I would have Aqua Jet. Like, well, I don't know, I didn't think he'd expect me to have Aqua Jet at all. So this was just a very, very good play by him scouting here. But if that Zangoose doesn't have Protect, he's coming back in on rocks, taking another round of rocks, and I'm still killing him with Crunch. So, like, this isn't the end of the world, right? This is not the old liquidation. This isn't the end of the world. I can still completely sweep the game from this point. So what is crucial here is finding out if this Zangoose has Protect. Really wish we still had an Infernape around at a good range of health, but we don't. It's fine. We can still do this. So, really hoping here that this thing does not have Protect. And if it doesn't, this Liquidation is going to rip him a new one, and we are going to win this game as he shows the Protect. And my heart sank. My heart went through the floor. I was like, I can't believe it. I thought he had it. It made so much sense the way he kept it in the back, the way that it was such a good check to my late game Sharpedo. I thought it would come. But my heart just sank, so I'm like, alright, well, I'm going to go for Protect, because he doesn't take a Toxic Orb damage the first time, which is really annoying, by the way, Game Freak. Change that. Make him take some Toxic Orb damage, damn you. Or some Toxic damage. I'm going to Protect, get off one round of Toxic damage on him. And here, I would analyze this moment. This moment is really key. And now, this game is not over at all. There's so much left to be played here, but I want to talk about what happens next. So, Pokemon is a game of, not just like sets, team building, making the right plays, understanding what are the correct and incorrect plays. And this is where I was talking about at Team Preview, me having some different analysis to make here. Pokemon is also a game of mental strength, mental fortitude, and being able to think under certain situations, especially on Wi-Fi when that timer, if you play on Showdown Leagues that don't use a timer, that timer goes down real fast on Wi-Fi compared to on non-timed Showdown Leagues. So you have to kind of think, and you get into the habit of just clicking, and I'm pretty much a clicker at this point. And here, I showed what is, in my opinion, currently, the reason why, and this isn't spoiling the result of the game, because there's a hell of a lot of game left to be played here, by the way, but I showed why I am still not winning leagues here, why I am, you know, having an 8-3 season, a really good season, could have been top seed if I'd won my final game of the season, but I'm not getting all the way to winning championships just yet. Now, if we win this match, I can address this for the final, and I can work on this. But I lost my head at this point. I do not have the mental fortitude that some of my friends, some of the top players I know have. You know, OPJellicent here had the presence of mind to sack his Megalati, come back in and click Protect and stuff like that. These are plays that I can make when I'm on the front foot, when I feel confident. These are plays that I fully understand. However, in the moment, if I get on tilt slightly, that is my biggest weakness. Because here, what I should always do is sack Whimsicott. If I go into Whimsicott on his quick attack here, I can bring Sharpedo back in, I can click Protect again, he can't go into the Crobat because I still KO that thing with an Aqua Jet. So he has to basically take another turn of Toxic off killing the Whimsicott, another turn of Toxic off my Protect, then I can Aqua Jet him and he will guaranteed die to Toxic the next turn. That means it's just Rotom versus Crobat in the end game. I have won this game 100% if I do that, I believe. Given damage rolls and Toxic Orb damage, I'm pretty sure I've won this game guaranteed if I make that play. However, because I went slightly on tilt after seeing the Protect here, and I was slightly gutted, I didn't. I clicked Aqua Jet here. Now, I can still win this game. It's not over yet. I just don't have a 100% guaranteed win like I believe I would have. So this is a huge choke from me, and it's not because, you know, I don't understand that that's the play, because, let me tell you, after I clicked Aqua Jet here, within half a second of me clicking Aqua Jet, my brain went, you should have sacked Whimsicott, and I wanted to cry. I was like, no, god damn it, because I have chucked away games like this before when I've just gone on tilt and made one single misplay. However, I'm going to try and bring it back. I'm going to try and still win this game. We still are in a fantastic position. This isn't over at all. It's just this moment was definitely devastating for me in the moment. And I wanted to analyze that because we talk all the time about what is objectively the right and wrong play, but we don't talk enough about the fact that it's a human being clicking those buttons. And you might know the right play. You might have the intelligence. You might have the game awareness. You might have the experience. But that doesn't mean that in the right moments you have the mentality and the mental fortitude if you go on tilt. And that's 100% what happened here. And it's something that I think a lot of us can work on. Certainly I can work on. If you're someone who does fantastically in the regular season but struggles to win championships, it's probably what it is. So you can, as you can see there, that Aqua Jet does like 60%. It does so damn much. He takes a round of poison damage here. Let's say he's at like 30% here. This brings him down to like 20, right? He takes like 10% roughly. I think the first one does 6, the second one does 12. So I think that was actually 12%. So from my understanding, the next toxic damage is going to do 24%. So imagine if I had sacked Whimsicott there, gone back out into Sharpedo, clicked Protect. He's taking 24% this turn if he protects, or he goes into Crobat, which dies to my Aqua Jet. So he goes into Crobat, he dies to my Aqua Jet, then he has to bring this thing back in on rocks, and I still click Protect. He will take 6 from the rocks, and he'll take another 6, and then I'll Aqua Jet him. There's no way in hell I lose this game if I just sack Whimsicott there. Now, it doesn't matter. What I can do here is I can go into Whimsicott and I can be aggressive, because he can quick attack here and kill me, but then he'll die to poison and I will win with Rotom, and we both know that. We both know I'm going to win with Rotom if he does that. So to my mind, he's always going Crobat. Now, unfortunately, neither Energy Ball nor Moonblast can kill Crobat from 26%, excuse me. So I have to U-turn. If I U-turn into Rotom, and he doesn't have Defog on this set, I've still won the game, because Zangoose still has to come in, take 6% from Rocks, it can only get 1 KO, and then it will take 6% from Poison and die. So, I've still won this game, assuming this thing isn't Defog. Now, so I'm going to U-turn, and I'm going to go into Rotom, and again, I'm faced with a tough choice here. As we do just get, like, what, like 1% off there. It's nothing. It's dead to Rocks when it comes back in, so that's nice. It can't, you know, you can't U-turn here and keep it alive, or any bullshit like that. This thing's dead to Rocks, but I now have another tough call. If I think this thing is Defog, what I can do here is I can go hard into my Whimsicott. If I go hard into Whimsicott on the Defog, right, I can then Encore him into Defog. If he wants to then bring Zangoose in hard, I mean, he might be scarfed, and he might be stuck into it anyway. If he wants to bring Zangoose in hard, he has to then take the 6% of toxic damage that turn. Then he can kill my Whimsicott, but take another 6% of toxic, and I think die. I think he's only at about 12%, right? We'll see when he comes back in, if, you know, if it goes that far. Which it is going to do, right? This Crobat's not going to sweep my team. I have a Rotom Wash. So I can do that. That's one play I can go for. Or I can discharge / Volt Switch here. Now, I should always Volt Switch here if I'm going to stay in an attack. The reason being, if I Volt Switch and he does go for Defog, I bring my Whimsicott back in, and I am then in with my Whimsicott, which forces his Zangoose to choose. Does he quick attack the Whimsicott to kill me, which will let me go into Rotom, which will take 1 and make him take another turn of toxic damage, and I'll win the game on toxic damage again? Or if he goes for Roost, which is the other play if he's not Scarf Crobat, I can go into Whimsicott and Encore him into the Roost, go back out into Rotom if I want to do that, and start firing off Hydro Pumps or whatever. Or I can just keep pivoting around and essentially Roost store this thing, and Whimsicott will continuously get leftovers recovery, because that will help me take a hit from his Zangoose. So yeah, sorry, if he locks himself into Roost, I can just Encore and stay in with Whimsicott and not kill him, essentially. I can just keep spamming Encore until I get my leftovers all the way back up to out of quick attack range from Zangoose. So I have a few plays here. The only play that I really don't do well with is if I click Discharge on a Defog. That's the only play that just, like, straight up loses me this game. So he goes for the Defog, and I go for Discharge. Again, this is that moment where I understand what the right plays were. I know 100% I can sit here and analyze this with you in the post game. However, in the moment when I'm on tilt and I'm frustrated, I screwed up. And this thing is just going to go for the Facade and KO me. I'm going to go into Whimsicott and sack it. It makes no difference, really. If he just went for some bizarre move here, I could Encore him into it. That's it, really. But it makes no difference. He outspeeds my Rotom anyway. And he could have killed the Whimsicott the next turn with Quick Attack anyway. So I just have to go back into Rotom. Rotom shouldn't ever take this, and we shouldn't outspeed him. I have some speed on this, so who knows, maybe. But no, we don't outspeed him. We don't take this. We are going to lose this game. 0-0. 0-0, because this thing is going to die to the poison. Oh, in fact, it doesn't even... Ah, I thought it died to the poison. I've been telling everyone I lost 0-0. I didn't lose 0-0, I lost 1-0. I've been lying to people, regardless. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks because he apologized in his video and to me after the game about the Focus Blast miss on Infernape, which, don't get me wrong, was big. However, It's the same situation I had with the UltraPlayer in the last game, where he missed the Leaf Storm, and then didn't feel he could get a Stellar Stealer Sweep off, but I felt like maybe he still could have done. I feel the same way about this, is I could sit here and be really upset about the Focus Blast miss, but I've just shown you that I had probably 3 more opportunities to win this game, and I passed up on all of them, because in the moment, I clicked too fast and didn't let myself think about what the right move was. So I don't want to say that to take anything away from my opponent here. I thought he played a brilliant game, but I do honestly feel like I threw, and I hope I explained that well enough to not discredit him in any way. But I think at the end with that Sharpedo, by not sacking Whimsicott and bringing it in class Clickly Protect, I think that was a hard throw by me. So yeah, I just want to, you know, I want to be completely transparent and not try and discredit him or sound like I'm being disrespectful to him, but I believe I threw this game. If you guys disagree or he disagrees, 100% comment down below. I am always open to other people's opinions and feedback, but this was a tough one. Unfortunately, your Bowland Bovines do crash out of the UBL in the semi-finals, and it does just come down to, again, that little bit of presence of mind, that little bit of cool under pressure that right now as a player I still lack. I might be improving in my understanding of the game, I might be improving in my awareness, but there's more to Pokemon than that. This is a mental game, and your mental strength and your calmness under pressure is championship defining, as we've seen here. So yeah, huge L for us. Really hard for me to take. I won't lie. I was pretty devastated after this game. I pretty much just walked around my house for the rest of the night, just a little bit shell shocked. And it's nothing against my man OPJellicent, who I have so much love for, and obviously please do go and check him out. But from my perspective, knowing that I could have just won this semi-final game against him and had a final in the UBL after what has been such a fantastic season, and you guys have shown such fantastic support, I was pretty devastated. I won't lie. So we bounce back, we go again, and hopefully your Bowland Bovines will pick up their first championship soon. I feel like we've been getting really close. If we pretend the APA Academy didn't happen, which I'm fine with, we can pretend that didn't happen. We've been getting really close lately. We've been having some fantastic seasons, and I feel like we're getting there. I really feel like we're getting there. There's no opponent, you know, picking up a win against UltraPlayer, picking up a win this season against OPJellicent earlier on, running Vepsis close with what was essentially inadequate prep and still only losing to him 1-0. I no longer fear any players, and this is the first time I've ever been able to say that. I am someone who in a lot of matches, I had this conversation with my co-analyst in WB. I don't know who's still listening, but if you're still listening, shout out to you. I had this conversation with my co-analyst in WB the other day, Jacob, as always. We came off call on that, and we were chatting about stuff, and I said, one of my big problems is there are some people who I've lost to before I play them, and this season that has changed. This is the first time that I felt like that, where there is no one anymore that before we even start building, I believe that I will lose to straight away. I'm like, I might lose to them, but nowadays I finally have the confidence to go into games and think I can win this. I don't believe I will win every game like the top players do, but I believe I can win most games now. So we're slowly getting there, right? We're building. It's been a slow process, and I am so grateful for those of you that have joined me on this journey recently, and those of you that have been around the channel since day one. I feel like if any of you ever want a good laugh, go back and watch my first Draft League game. Watch the Idle Isle versus the Leicester Delphoxes, I think. Me versus Arctic Fast Dean, my first ever Draft League game. I was very bad. So I feel like we've come a long way, and soon I'm going to give you guys a championship, I promise. So regardless, I am going to quit rambling on because I have a tendency to do that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Sorry about the lengthy analysis. Thank you so much for loafing around me. Good luck to OPJellicent in the final, and I'll catch you again next time.